Hey, Pretty Girl Club. First of all, we hit 10,000 subscribers. The Pretty Girl Club is not going anywhere. The Exoticals have united. Be sure to join the Patreon because in the Patreon, that is where I give more of my in depth secret information that I don't share publicly on YouTube because I do feel like a lot of people who are not Exoticals or people who just want to spy on us, I do feel like some of those people are watching this channel. So the Patreon is kind of like a paywall so that we can have the most genuine, the most loyal people in there. And that is where we talk about a lot of strategy. I also have a Discord in there. But today, I'm going to talk about social climbing because one of you guys mentioned this on my community page, like you want to see more social climbing content, and I think social climbing is very important. When I say social climbing, I'm not saying you have to become the next Beyonce, become super famous, become super rich. You get to define what social climbing means for you. So I'm going to start off by telling you what my definition of social climbing was for myself and what my goals were socially. So I had moved to a new city and I did not know anyone except for my ex-boyfriend at the time. And so then when I dumped his dusty ass, I was there all by myself. And for most people that might sound scary, but I've moved to multiple different cities all over the country by myself and I have used social climbing to make friends. I've used it to get job opportunities and just to make my new city feel like home. So, my social climbing goals were to make new friends, but I wanted to have a friend group. I didn't want to just only have one friend because sometimes, if you only have one friend in the entire city, if she doesn't want to hang out, she basically has control over your entire social life and the level of fun you're going to have. So, I didn't want to give away my power like that. So, my goal was to have a friend group or to have multiple friends, like multiple girls that I could hit up at any time and just be like, hey, do you want to get some coffee? Do you want to go on a run? Do you want to go on a bike ride? So that was one of my social climbing goals was to actually make friends. And you guys know, if you are a part of the Patreon, you know that I talk about friendship types. So just like how you can have a dating type, like, okay, my type is he's tall, professional, whatever, I personally believe in the concept of friendship types. So the type of friends I wanted were women who were more similar to myself. So I wanted black/MLS friends, if possible. And I wanted friends who were educated like myself, so bachelor's degree and above, or they have some sort of business, or, they're like doctors, lawyers, something like that. Because at the time I was an accountant, and so I wanted to have other professional baddie friends, and that is my friendship type. I didn't want to be around the types of women where they have like a crabs in a bucket mentality or the women who are super like male identified so then they get jealous of you and try to sabotage you. So I wanted to have a friend group. I also wanted to date. I wanted to have a boyfriend that is hot, wealthy, and loyal. Those were like my main three standards or whatever. So not a dusty guy. Like I wanted my dating life to be fun. I didn't want it to be like, oh my God, I'm dealing with another broke dusty. This is horrible. I had to walk out on the date or I feel unsafe. I didn't want to deal with those types of crusty situations anymore. And another one of my goals was I just wanted to kind of become more well known in my city or kind of like get to know my city. So, all of the fun places to shop, all of the cool bars to go to, or the cool like restaurants to go to, I wanted to get familiar with all of the different events because I wanted my life to be exciting. My social climbing goals were really revolving around bringing excitement back into my life and not having all of my excitement revolve around a guy or a guy picking me or a guy choosing to take me out on a date. And like, I didn't go out anywhere else for the past month. The only time I ever go out is if a guy takes me out on a date. I was trying to center myself in my life and have kind of like that main character energy. I wanted to have fun, positive events to look forward to, whether a guy was involved or not, because in the past, I used to be more male centered for sure, and also when it came to friendships, like I said, like I had one friend when I first moved to the new city I was living in, and then if she didn't want to do anything, or if she just forgot to invite me or something, or chose not to invite me, or she wanted to go out with her college friends and I'm not a part of the college friend group, then I started to feel like, oh crap, like now my whole plans for the weekend are messed up because, this girl didn't want to invite me anywhere or she didn't want to hang out with me. So I basically was trying to take my power back. That is really what I am talking about when I'm talking about social climbing. It's about making your life fun and living your life on your own terms socially. What do you want your social life to look like? Do you want to have a lot of friends? Do you want to have a few friends? Do you want fellow MLS friends? Do you want exotical friends? Do you want a group of pretty girls and all of you guys hang out together? Or do you just want one friend? Or let's say you're a mom. Do you want other mom friends where maybe your kids can go to the park together? Or maybe you want to meet women in your neighborhood and like you and your kids and her kids can play at the park and have like a little play date. Or maybe you want to meet fellow dog moms. So you can make your social climbing goals however you want them to be. Or if you're in college, maybe you want to make friends with other college students because that's going to help you to social climb in that setting. So, anyway, those were my social climbing goals. And I made a very strict regimen for myself, but it was a fun regimen. So, social climbing should always be fun. You may feel a little bit out of your comfort zone sometimes because for me, social climbing involved a lot of going out by myself. It involved talking to strangers because if I don't know anyone, how am I supposed to make friends if I don't even try? So, my goal was to go out twice a week and to make friends with girls and guys, but to prioritize making female friends. So I was trying to meet my friendship type, which was, like I said, kind of the black/MLS professional, classy, pretty girls. Like that was my goal. It was to make friends who I felt would vibe well with me. So the first way that I did that was I went on Instagram. You can go on social media and just you can look up different workout classes in your city or different gyms in your city, or at least for me, that's what I wanted my social climbing goals to revolve around because I like fitness and I wanted friends who were into fitness. One thing that used to bother me about like my ex that I was with before was it would be an argument just to go on a walk at the park or like just to do something that revolved around fitness. And so I realized, hey, I am very into fitness, like not just going to the gym, but I like going hiking, going on walks, going boating or going climbing on rocks or something, or like running up a hill, doing sprints, doing a high intensity workout, doing yoga at the park. So I realized that that is something I really enjoy. And so I wanted to meet girlfriends who also enjoy the same thing. So I went on Instagram and I looked up, like, let's pretend that I live in Cincinnati. So I looked up Cincinnati workout groups for free. And then I just Googled it or I looked on Instagram to see like what groups would pop up. And there were so many random free groups that would pop up. So I started showing up to these groups. And I was already excited once I found these free fitness groups because, first of all, who doesn't want to have a free personal trainer? The people who run these groups outside, like these yoga classes that they have at the parks and stuff, these are real yoga teachers. Those are real personal trainers. Those are real bodybuilders and stuff. So it's like, not only am I meeting my social goals, but I'm also meeting my fitness goals, and it's free. I didn't have to pay hundreds of dollars a month to go to some fancy gym. I get to go to like an outdoor yoga class. That was one of the things that I found too, was they had this outdoor yoga class and I was like, okay, this looks really cool. Like, let me bring my yoga mat. So I went to the store and I got my little yoga mat. I got a pink yoga mat that was on sale, and I just packed up my pink yoga mat, and the free yoga class happened to be about 10 to 15 minutes walking distance from where I lived. So I put my yoga mat on my back and I just walked to where the park was, and I was like, oh wow, like if I'm the only one there, this is going to be awkward. But I had also looked up the teacher and I saw that the teacher looked cool, or like, she could be friendly or whatever. I guess I'm just weird like that. I like to look up who the leaders are of the classes because the way that I'm thinking about it is, even if I'm the only one that shows up to the class, is the teacher of that class someone that I could potentially be friends with? And so that's what I was thinking or whatever. So I saw that the girl that was teaching it, she looked about my age. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I showed up to this yoga class. Not only was I not the only one there, I'm not kidding, there were at least about 200 and something people there. Like, there were so many people there. Like, the entire park was just filled with yoga mats. And There were so many other like exoticals there. There were other girls there that were my age, and a lot of the other girls who came, they also came by themselves. So it wasn't awkward or anything. I remember this other girl, she was an exotical. She looked over at me and kind of like smiled or whatever. And then I ended up sitting next to that girl and like putting my mat next to hers. And I just started talking to the people there. I saw that other girls, they rode their bikes there, or they like, they drove their cars and just parked somewhere. So that was a form of social climbing because I was going out of my way to do an activity that I would normally want to do, which is working out, but to do it in a social setting. So that's actually my first tip. Is there anything that you like to do all the time? Like I would say at least once or twice a week. Is there any way that you can do that in a social setting? So, for example, instead of me working out at my gym at my apartment, because, not a lot of people were going to my apartment gym, so I didn't really make friends in my apartment that much. Um, so instead of doing that, I decided to make my exercise routine more social, or at least 2 times a week. I wanted to get out and do something to where there are other people. So, is there a way that you can do that? So, instead of going on a walk on the treadmill in your apartment, can you go on a walk around your neighborhood? Or the way I like to do it is I like to bribe myself. So I will look up one of my favorite coffee shops. Anyone who is in the Patreon, you know that I am such a coffee snob. I love fancy coffee shops. I love getting the kombuchas or drinking like the matchas and the Italian soda. I don't know why. Something about it just makes me feel so classy. It's also a part of my background, I guess. I love like the Italian sodas, all of the fancy pastries and stuff. That is just a vibe. So I will bribe myself sometimes and I will find a coffee shop that I want to try. And then I will walk to that coffee shop. So I'll find one that's like 3 miles away, 5 miles away, 6 miles away. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go on my Saturday walk and it's going to be a 6 mile walk. But the reward is I get to sit down at this coffee shop and enjoy an Italian soda, or I get to enjoy a lavender iced latte, which is my favorite, by the way. By the way, if you guys are coffee people, like what is your favorite latte? Because I just feel like drinking lattes and like drinking drinks from a cafe is just so classy. Like, is it not classy? I love the lavender latte. I love the golden latte. So the turmeric, I don't know if I'm saying it right, turmeric. I love those lattes. They are popular in the Indian culture. Those are amazing. I like charcoal lattes, matcha. Lavender is my favorite. I also like rose flavored lattes. And not to mention, I'm also into bubble tea as well. So, pretty much any fancy, kind of overpriced drink that involves a straw, or if it involves like a cup and they put the foam on top, I pretty much am into that. So, anyway, that was one of my activities for myself to get myself out and about. And also, this helps you to not feel lonely, by the way. So, if you're the type of person that sometimes feels lonely and bored, I've noticed that a lot of times loneliness really just comes from boredom. It comes from you not putting in the effort to make your life more exciting. And so I've had some people comment on here and they're like, oh, social climbing is so hard. Well, it's actually not supposed to be hard. You may feel like you're coming out of your comfort zone a little bit because if you're usually just in your bedroom, yeah, you're going to have to get out of the house and stuff. But it shouldn't be something that feels like, oh, this sucks. It actually improves your mood. So walking outside, the negative ions from the trees, those are affecting like your brain and stuff. It's lifting your mood. Not only that, but then you're walking to a coffee shop that you get to try and like you get to sip on this cute latte. You can post a little cute Instagram story, or at least that's what I used to do is like post it on my Instagram page or like, put the music in the background, put it on my story, take a picture of it, send it to my parents, just text whoever I want to text, and then I would walk back. And if the coffee shop was 6 miles away and I walked 6 miles there and I walked 6 miles back while I'm drinking my coffee, that is a 12-mile walk. That is amazing. How many people are walking 12 miles in one day? And by the way, you don't have to walk that far. You can definitely just do like a 15-minute walk, just a half a mile walk if you want to. But that was one of my social climbing tips. It was just doing random things in a social way instead of always isolating myself. So, yes, going out to a yoga class outside at the park because not only am I soaking in nature, I'm getting some cute sun, and also I get to wear my cute little yoga outfits, like my little matching pink sets, and I just get to go out and like enjoy my pretty privilege as well. So if you're the type of girl like me and you just love looking cute and standing out and like wearing cute little outfits and stuff, you also get to go out and you don't feel that same feeling of, oh, I'm bored. I didn't do anything today. Oh, another Saturday just passed by and I'm just sitting in the house. You don't have that same feeling. So I used to go to the park, to the yoga classes. They had them twice a week. And then other days, I would just go by myself and just bring my yoga mat and just do my own yoga stretches at the park. And even if I didn't make a new friend that day, it was still kind of like building me up to the point where I was getting used to being out and about and being around other people, because just being in a crowd, that actually can help you to feel less lonely if you are struggling with not having any friends or being in a new city and stuff. It can help you to just feel more comfortable, because I'm the type of person where when I move to a new city, sometimes I don't like to just be roaming about in a new city because I get lost very easily. So going to these parks by myself and like just practicing being there on my own and familiarizing myself with the names of the streets and with, where the bathroom is, where the coffee stand is, where the taco trucks are at the park, just familiarizing myself with those things, that actually helped me to feel more comfortable with exploring on a higher level next time. So that was one of my ways of social climbing. So I started going out 2 days a week. I would find free like groups online. I also found out that they have book clubs in my city. They have groups where you go biking. They have groups where you can go walking. And then I ended up meeting a friend where he was a part of a group where they played volleyball. So pretty much any activity you can think of. It could be throwing a frisbee. It could be volleyball. It could be like pickleball. That's also another thing. Those things can help you to make friends. And when it comes to your friendship type, if your friendship type is like, oh, I want to hang out with someone who is African American or someone who is mixed race and they have blackness as a part of their identity, are there any black events in your city where it's like, women are meeting up? If you're into the church or whatever, are there any local churches where they have women's groups or Bible studies or smaller groups where you can hang out with other women? If you are struggling with some sort of mental illness and overcoming that, is there a support group in your city? I actually did this myself in the city that I lived in. I found a support group, and literally the first night that I went to the support group, I'm not kidding, I got like 12 phone numbers, because all of the girls in the support group, we all exchanged numbers and created a group chat. So it's really important to get yourself out there, because that's how you get into all of these group chats and stuff, because there are other people out there just like you, and they also are in their 20s or in their 30s, or they're college students and they want to make friends. So it's not awkward or anything. You can easily just walk up to someone and be like, hey, how's it going? I've literally gotten into group chats from going to that support group. I got into another group chat because I went to a Zumba class. Like, I ended up being really cool with the Zumba teacher and she added me to the group chat. And then going to the different yoga classes and stuff. Then I got into spin classes. I love spin class. And you would be surprised at how nice and friendly a lot of other people are. Like, when I went to the Zumba class, they literally invited me to eat tacos after the Zumba class that night. So sometimes you're going to come across people who are really nice and sweet. You just have to put yourself out there. But I kept doing this for months, like going to these different workout classes. I would try so many different ones. So one of the other things that I would randomly do is I would drive around to other neighborhoods in my city that I lived in just to get to know the city better. And then I started to go running on the high school tracks. So I don't know if you can do that, but anyway, I was doing it because I saw other people, like adults, going running on these high school tracks like after school hours and stuff. So I started doing that, and that was how I found out about the different groups that would meet up at these tracks at these high schools and stuff. Some of them would run, some of them would do different drills like on the grass and stuff. Like, they would be doing sit-ups and planks and all that. And so that was another way that I met people, was by just trying out all of the different parks in my city, like deciding, okay, do I like walking at this park? Do I like walking at that park? And I've noticed that it's actually better for me to walk at a park than it is to walk in the city, because at the park, people tend to be more friendly. And also, the more I would go to the park, the more I started to recognize the same faces. And then sometimes people would even walk up to me and they'd be like, oh, hey, weren't you here last week? Or, hey, do you know what time the park closes? And they may just start a random conversation with you. And that is how you might start making friends, or you might find out about a certain workout group that meets up at that park. So, some of the activities that I have done in a group setting are yoga, running, walking, high intensity interval training, even outdoor Zumba. They also had they had outdoor like Nigerian style dance classes and like African style of dancing. Oh, I've also done salsa classes, like free salsa classes. They had that in my city, and it was outdoor. That was so much fun. They also had softball, even basketball. So I didn't try the basketball because basketball, I saw that there were like a lot of guys and stuff, but I saw it from like the corner of my eye. And so that could also be a thing if you're into that. I also ran across a skate park one time. So if you are an exotical who's into longboarding or skateboarding, or you have a scooter or something like that, maybe you can check out if they have any different skate parks and you just want to like kind of chill and get a little leisurely workout in. Also, this is really random, but whenever I used to go walking on one of the hiking trails, I would sometimes see girls like black slash MLS girls. They'd be roller skating on the sidewalk because there was a trail like next to a sidewalk. And I used to always smile at those girls. It was so cute seeing girls like roller skating and just living their best lives. That is the whole point of social climbing. It's about main character energy, and it's about you getting out and at least attempting to be social. And it gets easier every single time you do it because eventually you will start to recognize faces who keep coming to that gym. By the way, I do recommend joining a gym if you can afford it, because when I joined a gym and I specifically started doing all of the classes, that is when my social life really picked up a lot, because you're going to the same classes twice a week, 3 times a week. You know, you're starting to recognize the same people. And then soon enough, you will see that some of the people from the last class, they are also in the yoga class, or they're also in spin class. So you can join gyms and stuff that have multiple different classes. I know that like Planet Fitness, well, I think it's Planet Fitness. Yeah, I think Planet Fitness has classes sometimes, or like 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness. LA Fitness can get pretty crazy with the dusties sometimes, but if you are willing to ignore the dust, then that could be a really good place for social climbing as far as friendships. Another way that I was able to make friends was by using Bumble BFF. So, Bumble BFF worked out well for me because, like I said, I knew exactly what type of friend I was looking for. And whenever you message people on there, you can just ask them, what are you looking for in a friend? Or like, what types of things do you like to do? And then you can kind of go from there. And then, as far as social climbing when it came to dating, so the main way that I was doing this was I was making sure to join professional groups or be in professional events. So I was going to lots of finance luncheons and stuff, like with my job, because you get to interact with people from maybe a different department or a different company, or they are doing the same job as you, but maybe in a different way. So I started doing that, like going to lots of professional events. And then also the groups that I told you guys about. So the yoga classes or the HIIT classes or all of these outdoor groups, the outdoor walking groups and stuff, the outdoor trail running groups and hiking groups. Those groups were all co-ed as well. So you're making girlfriends, you're making guy friends. And then in terms of apps, if you do want to do like dating apps or something like that, I do not recommend doing the normal dating apps. I recommend apps like The League or Raya. Those are apps where the men on them in particular, they either have to pay a very high amount to get on the app, they have to be on a waiting list, and then also the app will verify the guy's, like they have a whole process where it verifies the picture, it verifies the guy's LinkedIn, it verifies the company he works for. And on The League in particular, you get like a concierge, and people literally get kicked off of the app or banned from the app if they do ghosting and stuff, or if they are like, harassing you. So I recommend those types of apps as opposed to the regular everyday ones that all the people are going on. But yeah, those are just a couple of the social climbing tips that I was able to use. I'll probably talk about this more on this channel, but what do you ladies think? Do you have any specific ways that you make friends or ways that you stop yourself from isolating? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.